It starts in the quiet hours. You're sitting at your desk, staring at an award you don't remember wanting, or scrolling through your achievements like they belong to someone else. The promotion came. The recognition arrived. You smiled at all the right moments. But here, alone, there's just silence. Not the peaceful kind, the hollow kind. Today, we're exploring the quiet psychology behind why some of the most successful people feel the most empty, and why the very thing that made you exceptional might be what's keeping you numb. You know how to perform. You've always known. You hit deadlines no one else can meet. You say yes when your body screams no. You celebrate your wins with the appropriate enthusiasm. Just enough to seem grateful, never enough to seem arrogant. People call you driven, disciplined, impressive. But at night, when the notifications stop and the to-do list is finally clear, you feel like you're standing in an empty stadium. All that applause was for a role you're not sure you auditioned for. You don't tell people this part. You barely admit it to yourself. Because how do you explain that success feels like proof you're good at something that doesn't matter? What you're experiencing has a name, though it rarely gets one: achievement dysphoria. It's the psychological dissonance between external validation and internal emptiness. You've become exceptional at meeting goals, but somewhere along the way, the goals stopped being yours. This often begins in childhood. Maybe you learned early that love was conditional on performance, that attention came through excellence, that your value wasn't inherent. It was earned, recalculated with every test score, every impressed adult, every trophy on the shelf. So you optimized. You became a machine of achievement. You internalized the belief that if you just did enough, won enough, proved enough, you'd finally feel enough. But here's the paradox. The better you got at achieving, the further you moved from yourself. Because every goal you reached was built on someone else's metric of success. And every win just raised the baseline of what enough looked like. Maybe it's not emptiness. Maybe it's exhaustion from performing a self you never chose. You wake up already behind. There's a checklist in your mind before your eyes even open. You move through the day like you're being graded on your efficiency. Lunch is productive. Rest is earned. Enjoyment requires justification. You smile. You deliver. You exceed expectations. And inside, there's this growing suspicion. What if I stop? Not stopping as in quitting. Stopping as in pausing. Feeling. Admitting that you don't know what you actually want because you've spent so long becoming what others needed. You've built an entire identity around capability. Around being the one who doesn't break. The one who handles it. But you can't remember the last time you felt something that wasn't tinged with guilt or performance anxiety. Joy feels frivolous. Vulnerability feels like failure. Stillness feels like wasting time. So you keep moving, keep achieving, keep adding to a resume that impresses everyone except the person living it. And the emptiness? It doesn't scream. It just sits there, waiting for you to finally ask the question you've been avoiding. What am I actually doing this for? Here's the twist. What saved you once is now holding you hostage. That relentless drive, it was adaptive. It gave you control in a world that felt unpredictable. It made you valuable when you feared being disposable. It turned pain into productivity. Achievement became your armor. But armor only works when you're under attack. And you've been wearing it so long, you've forgotten you're not on a battlefield anymore. The emptiness you feel isn't a sign that you're broken. It's a signal that you've outgrown the operating system you built for survival. You achieved your way out of invisibility, out of inadequacy, out of the fear that you wouldn't matter. And now you're standing at the top of a mountain you climbed for someone who stopped watching years ago. Maybe a parent who never said enough. Maybe a younger version of yourself who thought success would feel like arriving. But it doesn't feel like arriving. It feels like running. Because the real tragedy isn't that you failed. It's that you succeeded at the wrong thing. You became excellent at a game you didn't design. And now winning just means playing again. We live in a culture that worships productivity as proof of worth. We've confused exhaustion with importance, busy with meaningful, achieving with living. We celebrate people who grind, who sacrifice, who optimize every waking hour. We call it ambition. We call it success. But we rarely ask, success at what cost? Success toward what end? And so we create generations of people who are exceptional on paper and empty in practice, who can execute flawlessly, but can't name a single thing they desire just for the pleasure of it. The emptiness isn't personal failure. It's cultural inheritance. We were taught that our value is a function of our output. that rest is laziness, that needing things makes us weak, that the self is something to be transcended, not listened to. So we achieve our way into numbness. We win our way into isolation. We succeed our way into a life that looks perfect and feels hollow. Have we normalized accomplishment as a replacement for identity? Have we mistaken the performance of thriving for the experience of it? Maybe the question isn't, why do high achievers feel empty? Maybe it's, what kind of world makes people believe they have to earn their existence? Here's what no one tells you. You don't have to fix yourself to deserve rest. The emptiness isn't evidence that you're doing it wrong. It's evidence that you're ready to do it differently. What if the goal wasn't to achieve more, but to want more honestly? Not bigger goals, not better metrics, but real desire. The kind that doesn't need to be justified or optimized. The kind that exists simply because you exist. This is the gentle rebellion. Choosing presence over performance. Choosing curiosity about your own experience over the next checkbox. Choosing to be a person, not a productivity engine. You've spent so long being impressive. Maybe it's time to be interested in what you actually feel, want, fear, love. The work isn't to add more. It's to subtract the parts of you that were built for survival in a world that no longer exists. And yes, that's terrifying, because who are you without the achievements? Without the discipline? Without the armor? I don't know. Neither do you. And maybe that's exactly the point. It starts in the quiet hours. But this time, the quiet doesn't feel hollow. It feels like space, like permission. You're not scrolling through achievements like they belong to someone else. You're sitting with the uncomfortable truth that you've been running toward a finish line that keeps moving, because you're the one moving it. Maybe success was never supposed to feel like validation. Maybe it was supposed to feel like alignment. Maybe the emptiness wasn't a void to fill. It was an invitation to listen. You don't have all the answers yet. You might not for a long time. But you're starting to ask a different question. Not am I enough, but what do I actually want? And for the first time in longer than you can remember, you're willing to not know. To sit in the discomfort of desire without a plan. To let yourself be uncertain, unproductive, unoptimized. The quiet is still there. But now it sounds less like absence and more like potential. What would it feel like to finally stop performing and just be? Maybe the real achievement was never the accolades. It was the courage to admit they weren't enough and to keep searching anyway.